Hello everyone and welcome back to another video review. So today I'm reviewing the Monsieur Helm One, which is currently live on Kickstarter. So it has a early bird pricing of just 250 USD, which translates to about 330 Singapore dollars. So let's see if it's any good. So Monsieur is a Singaporean watch microbrand that was founded in 2017. For those that's interested, I did a previous review on the Monsieur Renamo, and you guys can check that out. But let's take a look at the Helm One, which is what we're looking at today. So first of all, let's talk about specifications. The Monsieur Helm One uses a double dome sapphire crystal. So it's very scratch resistant, and I always look for sapphire crystal in my modern watches. Being a dive watch, it's also water resistant to 300 meters. So you can bring this to the pool, you can bring this to the sea, you can bring this and wear this in the shower without any major issues. Now onto the back. Let me see if I can get this closer to the camera. The Helm One is powered by the Seiko NH35 movement. So NH35, is a workhorse movement that powers a lot of affordable microbrand watches. Beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, has 42 hours of power reserve, and is more importantly hacking. I much prefer it to the Miyota 8 series movement. There's not, as expected for the price point, there's not much decoration there, but we do see a sign rotor, which is a good touch. Yeah, definitely I prefer it to the Miyota 8 series. I think at this price point or below 300 USD, the Seiko NH35 movement is as good as a movement as they come. Now, let's talk about the bracelet next. The bracelet, I would say, is one of the best bracelets that I ever felt on a sub 300 USD watch. You can feel that it's solid, unlike most dive watches at this price point, which has hollow end links. Now, the clasp on this is also pretty good. You can see it's very solid, signed with the Monsieur logo. There's a divert extension, so you press and it's a double clasp, and there's a divert extension as well. So you can pull, and let's see how this works. There you go, and you can extend it. So usually, the divert extension is used if you actually bring this to dive. You can extend it so that it fits over your wetsuit. But for most of us, unless you're a serious diver, you probably won't use this. But yeah, the clasp itself is pretty solid. So let me just see if you can hear the click. See what a satisfying click. So yeah, it's a very solid bracelet throughout, and very comfortable as well. This doesn't have the most obvious and eye-catching of finishing, just very industrially brushed throughout, but overall a very solid and sturdy bracelet. Last but not least, there's also Lume as well. So the Helm One uses two types of Swiss Super Luminova, blue BGW9 for the hour markers, as well as green C1 on the hands and bezel. So I'll just pop a Lume shot here. So I'll say that's pretty impressive for the Helm One to use not just one but two types of Swiss Super Luminova at this price point. And overall, I'll say that this Helm One has a pretty good specification for the price. You get double dome sapphire crystal with AL coating, you get 300 meters of water resistance rating, you get a workhorse Seiko NH35 movement, you get a very sturdy metal bracelet, and you get two kinds of Swiss Super Luminova. So there's really not much to complain about here. So now let's look at the design of the watch. So again, it is a dive watch, but while it doesn't really reinvent the wheel, I would say that it has certain intriguing design elements that help differentiate it from the masses of generic submariner homages out there on Kickstarter. So first and foremost, let me bring this closer to the camera for a close-up. In case it isn't evident, you can actually see that the Helm One has a sandwich dial. So it has depth in it. Let me just try to anchor it for you guys to see. So unlike a Panerai, for example, the sandwich dial here is much more subtle. It isn't immediately evident until closer inspection. And due to the dual layered nature of the dial, the Helm One has depth. And I find it particularly interesting how the Helm One uses the sandwich dial as indices instead of having the traditional applied indices as you see on most dive watches. So the hollow out motif on the dial also resembles the helm wheel of a ship, which is where the watch derives its name from. And I appreciate the little details that really went into this watch, including the lollipop second hand, which has a blue tipped to match the blue bezel. So yeah, very detail oriented design, I would say. Now, the Helm One also has a ceramic bezel, 120 click unidirectional. So ceramic is incredibly scratch resistant. Even after years, this bezel should look spanking new. So let me just rotate it for you guys to hear. see if you guys can hear it on camera. There you go. I'll say okay. I'll say overall it's okay bezel. Very little play. It feels solid throughout. What I would have liked perhaps the bezel to be a bit bigger. You know, it is a bit hard to rotate. But other than that, no complaints. I think, you know, given the fact that it's ceramic as well, which is a ceramic bezel is something you usually see at a much higher price point. No complaints here. I just wish that it's a bit bigger so that it's easier to rotate, a bit easier to grip. Now on to the case of the watch. As expected of the price point, you know, the case is industrially brushed. So, you know, on the front it's brushed, and on the case side it is brushed as well. You also get a signed crown with the Monsieur logo. There is, however, a little bit of contrasting finishing around the edges of the lug. You see polished beveled edges, chamfered edges running through the flank of the watch. So that's a pretty nice touch. The case actually reminds me a lot of the Tudor Black Bay, which I also have. Very similar case style. Won't be surprised if that is where the Helm One derives its design from. Now, the watch also has a screw down crown. So you can pop it out like this, you can manually wind it if you wish, and then you can screw it back in. The crown is a bit small, I would say, given you can see how small the crown is relative to the case. But, you know, Monsieur said, because this is a prototype, right? Monsieur said, you know, they will make the crown bigger eventually on their production models. Alright, and without further ado, let me just put it on my wrist and show you guys how it wears. Alright, let me just do a slow wrist roll. There you go. I would say it's a really lovely watch, you know. On my 7-inch wrist, I think it wears fantastically. It has a diameter of 41mm, a thickness of 14.5mm. You know, so it's not exactly like your Black Bay 58 kind of slim case dimension. I think it's still definitely on the slimmer, smaller side of things when it comes to dive watches. And I find it sleek enough to wear it, you know, underneath a shirt cuff. Yeah, very nice, you know, very nice dimension. I would say in fact perfect dimensions, you know, for my wrist. Not too big, not too small. Overall, while the dive watch definitely a crowded segment, I think the Monsieur Helm One has enough going for it here to stand out in the affordable dive watch category. The specs are great. You know, you get Lume sapphire crystal, 300-meter water resistance rating, a workhorse Seiko NH35 movement, 2 types of Swiss Lume, and a well-engineered bracelet. The design is appealing as well, you know, with a unique take on a sandwich dial. And I think the watch is one of the best finishing when it comes to, you know, your bezel, when it comes to the sandwich dial, when it comes to, you know, the satin brush case finishing contrast with the polished bevel edges. I think it's one of the best finishing I've seen on a sub 300 USD price point. If you're looking for an affordable beater watch or affordable diver, I think you can consider the Monsieur Helm One. Again, at 250 USD, which is what its early bird pricing is, I think it's a great bang for buck. Now, to make it even more bang for buck, Monsieur has told me that along with in this packaging, they're actually partnering with local fragrance label Scent by 6, which I also have reviewed both on this YouTube channel as well as over on the Return blog. They're partnering with Scent by 6 to offer a unique custom fragrance in each, including each, you know, Monsieur watch package box for customers. I've never seen such a partnership before, you know, a watch brand partnering with a fragrance label to offer I think it's an 8ml bottle of perfume with every Monsieur watch bought. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good buy as well. The owner of Monsieur told me that they're positioning himself more as a lifestyle brand, so you have something to wear both on the wrist and, you know, on your clothes. Pretty interesting. And Scent by 6, you know, I love them. They're one of my favorite local fragrance labels. I think it's an interesting collaboration between two brands that I love. So again, for 250 USD, you get not only a very well engineered watch with very rock solid specifications, you also get a bottle of perfume, you know, to spray or to try. So yeah, very good touch, no complaints about it. Again, I think the Monsieur Helm One is currently live on Kickstarter, so go support them if you are interested. And alright, so that's it for me for today. As usual, you know, if you like the video, do share around, do subscribe to the channel and leave it a thumbs up. Comment below what you think, you know, on the watch. What we'll back it on Kickstarter, what do you think, you know, it should have changed, and etc. And I'll reply to them as well. Alright, until the next time, see you guys. Ciao!